Body Language 101. Unlocking the Power of Gestures. Gestures are an important aspect of body language that can convey a wide range of emotions and intentions. A gesture is a nonverbal. For example, waving is a common gesture that is used to greet someone or to signal that you want someone to come over to you. Pointing is often used to indicate a specific object or direction, such as pointing to a sign or pointing to a location on a map. Nodding is a gesture that is often used to show agreement or understanding. Few examples of gestures. Thumbs up. This gesture is often used to indicate approval or agreement. The peace sign. This gesture is made by holding up two fingers in a V shape and is often used to symbolize peace or to say goodbye. Clapping. Clapping is a common gesture used to show appreciation or approval, especially in a public setting. The fist bump. This gesture involves two people bumping their fists together and is often used as a greeting or a way to show solidarity. Crossed arms. Crossing one's arms in front of the chest can indicate several things, including defensiveness or closed-off body language. There are many different types of gestures that can be used in body language, and the specific gestures that are used and the meanings that they convey can vary from culture to culture. Some common types of gestures include emblematic gestures. These are gestures that have a specific, agreed-upon meaning, such as waving to say hello or holding up a thumb to indicate approval. Illustrators. These are gestures that accompany speech and help to illustrate or emphasize the words being spoken. For example, a speaker might use hand gestures to illustrate the size of an object or to show the direction in which something is moving. Affect displays. These are gestures that are used to express emotions, such as shaking one's fist in anger or holding one's hands to one's face in surprise. Regulators. These are gestures that are used to control the flow of conversation, such as nodding to indicate that someone should continue speaking or holding up a hand to signal that you want to speak. Adapters. These are gestures that are used to relieve tension or stress, such as fidgeting or playing with one's hair. There are many other types of gestures as well, and the specific gestures that are used can depend on the context in which they are being used and the cultural background of the people communicating. Emblems. These are gestures that have a specific, agreed-upon meaning and can be used as a substitute for words. For example, the OK sign, making a circle with your thumb and forefinger, is a common emblem that is used to indicate that everything is fine. Affect tokens. These are gestures that are used to express emotions, such as grinning to show happiness or frowning to show sadness. Adapters. These are gestures that are used to relieve tension or stress, such as fidgeting or playing with one's hair. Rituals. These are gestures that are part of a social or cultural ritual, such as bowing to show respect or shaking hands as a greeting. Deictic gestures. These are gestures that are used to point to something or to indicate a direction, such as pointing or beckoning with the hand. It is important to be aware of the various types of gestures and to pay attention to the body language of others, as gestures can provide important information about how someone is feeling or what they are trying to communicate. Please subscribe our channel if you want more videos like this. Press the bell icon. Here are a few elements that gestures can indicate. 1. Emotions. Gestures can be used to communicate emotions such as happiness, anger, excitement, or frustration. 2. Emphasis. People may use gestures to emphasize a point they are making, such as by pointing or waving their hands. 3. Approval or agreement. People may use gestures such as nodding their heads or making a thumbs up to indicate approval or agreement. 4. Disapproval or disagreement. People may use gestures such as shaking their heads or making a thumbs down to indicate disapproval or disagreement. There are several gestures that can be used to indicate disapproval or disagreement. Here are a few examples. Shaking one's head from side to side. This gesture is often used to indicate a negative response or to show disagreement. Crossed arms. Crossed arms can indicate closed-off body language and may indicate that someone is not open to what is being said or is disagreeing with the speaker. Folding one's arms across the chest. This gesture can indicate a defensive posture and may indicate that someone is not receptive to what is being said. Furrowed brows or a scowl. These facial expressions can indicate that someone is unhappy or annoyed and may suggest disagreement or disapproval. Rolling one's eyes. This gesture can indicate that someone is not taking something seriously or does not agree with what is being said. It is important to be aware of these and other nonverbal cues when communicating with others, as they can provide important information about how someone is feeling or reacting to what is being said. Invitation. People may use gestures such as waving or beckoning to indicate that they want someone to come closer or join them. An invitation in body language is a gesture that indicates a willingness or desire to interact with another person. Invitation gestures can be subtle or overt, and they can be made with various parts of the body. One common example of an invitation gesture is extending an arm in a welcoming manner, such as by opening an arm wide or patting a spot next to you to indicate that someone should come over and sit down. This gesture can be used to invite someone to join you in a conversation or activity. Another example of an invitation gesture is leaning in towards someone in a non-threatening way, which can indicate a desire to engage in a conversation or to listen to what someone has to say. Smiling and maintaining eye contact can also be invitation gestures, as these behaviors can signal that someone is open and approachable. Cultural differences. As with other aspects of body language, gestures can vary significantly between cultures, and it is important to be aware of these differences to avoid misunderstandings. Gestures are a universal form of nonverbal communication, but the specific gestures that are used and the meanings that they convey can vary from culture to culture. It is important to be aware of these cultural differences in gestures, as using the wrong gesture in the wrong cultural context can lead to misunderstandings or offense. Here are a few examples of cultural differences in gestures. In the United States and many other Western countries, a thumbs-up gesture is generally considered to be a positive sign, indicating approval or agreement. However, in some Middle Eastern countries, the same gesture can be considered rude or offensive. In many Western cultures, nodding one's head up and down can indicate agreement or understanding. However, in some Asian countries, nodding one's head side to side can have the same meaning. In the United States, it is common to see people shaking hands when they meet, as this is a gesture of greeting and goodwill. However, in some Asian countries, bowing is more common as a gesture of respect. In some cultures, making direct eye contact is considered a sign of honesty and respect, while in other cultures, avoiding eye contact can be seen as a sign of respect. It is always a good idea to be aware of the cultural context in which gestures are being used to ensure that you are interpreting them correctly and using them appropriately. Context. It is important to consider the context in which gestures are being used. For example, a gesture that is appropriate in a casual social setting may be seen as inappropriate in a formal business setting. Nonverbal leakage. As with other aspects of body language, gestures can sometimes reveal a person's true feelings or intentions even if they are trying to hide them. This is known as nonverbal leakage, and it can be an important aspect of body language to pay attention to. Training. Some people may be able to improve their ability to recognize and interpret gestures through training or practice. This can be helpful in a variety of situations, such as in negotiating, sales, or customer service. Mirroring. When two people are having a conversation, they may unconsciously mirror each other's gestures. This can help to create a sense of rapport and build a connection between the two people. In conclusion, gestures are an important part of nonverbal communication and can convey a wide range of meanings. They can be made with various parts of the body, including the hands, arms, face, and head, and can vary from culture to culture. Understanding and interpreting gestures correctly is essential for effective communication and can help to avoid misunderstandings. It is important to be aware of the cultural context in which gestures are being used, as the same gesture can have different meanings in different cultures.